So the whole Christian world tells me on Good Friday. In my country, we have a public holiday called Good Friday. In African, Goeie Vrydag, Good Friday. The Masudu people, Lesotho, they commemorate Good Friday. Zambia, Swaziland, every Christian nation, Britain, France, Germany, each and every Christian nation commemorates Good Friday. So I'm asking, what makes Good Friday good? He said, Christ died for our sins. So he was crucified on a Good Friday. He said, yes. I said, morning or afternoon? So they say in the afternoon. I said, how long was he on the cross? Some say 3 hours, some say 6 hours. I won't argue. Whether you say 3 or you say 6, I agree. I said, you know, the Jews were in a hurry to put him up on the cross. You know why? Because of the general public. This man Jesus was a hero to the masses, He had fed, as our brother said just now, 5,000 people with a few pieces of fish and a few pieces of bread. Your reputation spreads. 5,000 people ate that free food. Your reputation spreads. Another occasion, another 3,000 people. And he healed the blind and the lepers and he quickened the dead. A man with such a reputation, if his life was in danger, you'll find the whole nation might be aroused. There could be a rebellion. So they felt that quick as possible, we must get rid of the man who is Jesus. So they had a midnight trial, which doesn't happen in Jewry. They did it. Early in the morning, they take him to Pilate. Pilate says, not my kettle of fish, take him to Herod. Herod says, I'm not interested, take him back to Pilate. These things only happen in films, that in 1 hour, you can show the life of a man in 1 hour. It doesn't happen in real life. As if Pilate had nothing to do, he was sitting there waiting, and Herod had nothing to do, he was waiting, and when they returned back, he says, Pilate is still waiting. It doesn't happen in real life. But if you say it happened that way, as a right, I agree. So quickly put him up on the cross, according to the scriptures. And we are told that they managed it. But as much as they were in a hurry to put him up, they were also in a hurry to bring him down. You know why? Because of the Sabbath. Curious people, these Jews. They are in a hurry to put up the man, and now they're in a hurry to bring him down. Because of the religious scruples. You see, at sunset on Friday, the Sabbath starts. And they were told in the book of Deuteronomy, they must see to it that nobody is hanging on the cross on the Sabbath day, that thy land be not defiled, with the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. So, to fulfill that, down. And I'm told they managed that also. And they gave him a burial bath, like what we ghusl. And they put 100-pound weight of medicines around him. And they put a winding cloth around him. And they put him into the sepulchre. Not a grave, big roomy chamber. They put him in there. So I'm asking, by the time they put him in, according to your story, according to your book, it's already evening. And they agree. Because it takes 2 hours to give a bath, and take about another 2 hours to put that ointment and put the wrapping. As it's already evening. So Friday night, he's supposed to be in the grave. He's supposed to be in the grave. Mark my words. And watch my finger. Can you see my finger? Yes. Friday night, he's supposed to be in the grave. So the Christian agrees. As a Saturday day, he's still supposed to be in the grave. He said yes. Saturday night, he's still supposed to be in the grave. This is right. Sunday morning, the first day of the week, when Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb is empty. Is it right? The tomb is empty. How many nights and how many days? Look, before you answer, I want to make it easy for you. Friday night, Saturday day, Saturday night. How many nights and how many days? 2 nights and a day. What did he say? For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights. I'm asking, does this look like that? So failed again, a second time. Look, what are you doing to this mighty messenger of God? These are the signs, the only sign he gave for his bona fide, to say that I'm the Messiah. The only sign. Like me coming along, claiming some crown jewels from your, that castle, crown jewels. It was supposed to be given to me. They only want to verify that I'm Ahmed Deedat. So I said, I'm Ahmed Deedat. Those crown jewels were supposed to be given to me. You know, some will made out by King George IV, you see. In that my name was there. So I said, those crown jewels. He said, you Ahmed Deedat? I said, yes. He said, what's the proof? Oh, I said, I have my passport in my pocket, my identity. I said, yes. Can you have a look? So I show the person my identity. And in my identity, they see my photo with all this. But it's written there, it's written there, Mr. Foster. It's written there, Mr. Bhuta. It's written there, Mr. Callaghan. Will they give me the parcel? No. I said, look, it's me. Look, it's me. He said, yes, but you said your passport, your photo, and your name. And that's the only thing I told. I said, look, you know, we had to do all this sort of thing. I had another reason. I said, oh, please don't waste my time. Please. You said you are Mr. Deedat, and I wanted your identity. I see your picture all right, but the name is something else. I can't get the parcel. You agree? I can't get the parcel. Jesus Christ puts all his eggs in one basket. He said, the only sign I'm going to give you is that of Yunus alayhi salam. And the Christians say he failed twice. He failed twice in just fulfilling one prophecy. So if I was a Jew, I can't accept him as my Messiah. I said, the man, he gave the only proof he gave, and he failed twice. So if my people killed him, if they killed him 2,000 years ago, I said, he deserved it. The guy was an imposter, don't you see? But as a Muslim, I believe that he's a Messiah. The Quran testifies that he's a Messiah, the Masih. Masih Isa ibn Maryama. Messiah, Christ, Jesus, the son of Mary, we accept. But if I was a Jew, I would be forced to reject. I said, look, the man didn't even fulfill. You know, the first one he failed, and he fails again a second time, and you say he is a true man of God. So, you know, the Christian is in a predicament. But your learned men, you see, the Anglican bishops, they have come to realize the fallacy of their beliefs. The Anglican bishops, look, I'm reading from one of my one of my newspapers, Daytime from London. You know, one of your television people, they carried out a survey of the Anglican bishops, and I'm reading. It says more than half of England's Anglican bishops say Christians are not obliged to believe that Jesus was God. Finished. What was the difference? What was the fight all about between the Muslim and the Christian? The most fundamental thing that was dividing the Muslim and the Christian was the divinity of Christ. The Christians say that Jesus is God, and the Muslims say he's not God. And now, you can come along, question time, I'll answer you. See, the Anglican bishops, more than 50%, they are telling their congregation that you don't have to believe. That means you can become a Muslim now. Look, that dividing line is removed. What is holding you back? Salvation. How do you get salvation? Christ dying for your sins, as a man or as a God. Did he die as a man or did he die as a God? If he died as a man, one man can't carry the sins of the world. Common sense. Lot of prophets died. Jesus says to the Jews, so you kill the prophets. From righteous Abel to Zechariah, you kill the prophets. In the verses that were read, it said the Jews, the impossible things that they were asking. He says, you know, they were asking the prophet miracles. He said they were asking for greater miracles from Moses. They wanted to see God face to face. These Jews, now, more than 50% of the bishops, paid servants of the Anglican Church, they are telling their congregation, Jesus, you don't have to believe. If you don't have to believe, this is join hands with us. That's what we're trying to tell you for 1400 years. We were telling you, lakat kafar. The Quran says, lakat kafar allazina qalu inna Allahu al-Masih ibn Maryam. Whosoever says that Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, is God, they are making kufr, is an act of blasphemy against God. So وَقَالَ الْمَسِيحِ, but Christ said, Ya Bani Israel, O children of Israel, لَعْبُدُ worship Allah, Rabbi wa Rabbukum, who is my Lord and your Lord. إِنَّهُ مَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, whoever will associate anyone with Allah, فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ لِلْجَنَّةِ, Allah will make Jannat haram for them, وَمَأْوَاهُ النَّارِ, and the fire of hell will be the dwelling place, وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ. And for the wrongdoers, there will be no one to help. So our Christian Anglican brethren, they have given us a hand of friendship, of brotherhood. Take that hand. You see, we are sleeping. They're opening the doors for you and you are sleeping. Take their hand. They tell you further about the resurrection. You know, because without death and resurrection of Jesus, no Christianity. That's what Paul said. If Christ is not risen from the dead, he said our preaching is vain, your faith is vain. So the poll of 31 out of England's 39 bishops, that I worked it at 70%. 70% of the bishops, Anglican bishops, shows that many of them think that Christ's miracles, the virgin birth and the resurrection might not have happened exactly as described in the Bible. It's all like fairy tales. All these are like fairy tales. 70% of the Anglican bishops are saying that now. 70%. I'm asking them. We say, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ. They didn't kill him and they didn't crucify him. So if they didn't kill and they didn't crucify, there's no resurrection. Whatever happened, there is no resurrection. And if there's no resurrection, there's no Christianity. It's about time. My dear brothers and sisters, let me, as time is running out fast, let me end with another example from the Bible. You see, it was Sunday morning, the first day of the week. Sunday morning, the first day of the week. Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb of Jesus. I'm reading the Gospel of St. John, chapter 19, 20. Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb of Jesus. I'm asking, why did she go there? Why did she go there? The Gospel says she went to anoint him. I say the Hebrew word for anoint is masaha. The Arabic also masaha, the root word, which means to rub, to massage, to anoint. Now tell me, whether Jews massage dead bodies after 3 days? Do they? The answer is no. We Muslims, we are the closest to the Jew in our ceremonial law. Do Muslims massage dead bodies after 3 days? The answer is no. I said, you Christians, do you massage dead bodies after 3 days? The answer is no. Then I said, why would this woman want to go and massage a dead, rotting body after 3 days? Because within 3 hours, rigor mortis sets in. Rigor mortis sets in.
Oh, see, brothers in Islam, I don't like anybody to respond. No response at all. Would you please keep quiet? Please, please.
I know it hurts. No, I know it hurts. You see, because the foundation, the ground is being taken away from under your feet. And if you feel in desperation, I can appreciate that. By God, I appreciate your feelings. The thing... Sunday morning, Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb. And she finds the tomb empty. I'm asking, why did she go there? So we are told she went to anoint him. When she finds the tomb empty, she starts to cry. It's a disappointment. She expected to find Jesus there. So she starts to cry. She sees the empty tomb and the winding sheets inside and the stone removed. So Jesus was watching her from wherever he was. Not from heaven, but from this earth. You see, this tomb was a privately owned property belonging to Joseph of Arimathea, a very rich, influential disciple of Jesus, who had carved out of a rock a big roomy chamber, which Jim Bishop, one of your authorities, describes as 5 feet wide by 7 feet high by 15 feet deep, with a ledge or ledges inside. Around this tomb was the man's vegetable garden. Now don't tell me that this Jew was so generous, he was planting vegetables 5 miles out of Jerusalem for other people's sheep and goats to graze upon. Surely he must have got his gardener's quarters and perhaps his country home where he went for the weekend with his family. Jesus is there. He sees this woman, he knows who she is, and he knows why she is there. So he walks up to her and he finds her crying. So he says, "Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou?" Why are you crying for? Who are you looking for? I am asking, why does he ask such a silly question? Doesn't he know who she's looking for? Doesn't he know that she is disappointed not finding him? Of course he knows. Then why is he asking such a silly question? I say, it is not a silly question. He's actually pulling her leg, as the Englishman says, metaphorically, playing the fools. He's still got the sense of humor. He has been through an ordeal, according to the scriptures, but he's still got the sense of humor. So he says, "Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou?" She, supposing him to be the gardener. I said, why does she suppose he's a gardener? Do resurrected bodies look like gardeners? Do they? Then why does she suppose he's a gardener? I said, because he's disguised as a gardener. Why is he disguised as a gardener? I say, because he's afraid of the Jews. Why is he afraid of the Jews? Because I say he didn't die and he didn't conquer death. Because if he had died and if he had conquered death, there's no need to be afraid anymore. Why not? Because the resurrected bodies can't die twice. Who says so? I said, the Bible. What does it say? It says it is ordained unto all men once to die and after that the judgment. You can't die twice. So she, supposing him to be the gardener, says, "Sir, if you have taken him hence, tell me, where have you laid him? To rest, to relax, to recuperate, so that I might take him away." One woman carrying away a corpse. Can you imagine? A frail Jewess, like a super American woman, the superwoman type of woman, carrying him like a bundle of straw and taking where? Bury him as who dug the grave. If there was a grave, carrying is one thing, but burying means she just have to dump him in a hole. Does it make sense? No. So she, supposing him to the gardener, says, "Sir, if you have taken him hence, tell me, where have you laid him? To rest, to relax, to recuperate, so that I might take him away." The joke has gone too far. So Jesus says, "Mary." The way he said, "Mary," she recognized that this is Jesus from this intonation. And she wanted to grab him, as the Jews would do, to pay respects. So he says, "Touch me not." I say, "Why not? Is he a bundle of electricity, a dynamo, that if she touches him, she'll get electrocuted?" No. Then why not? I say, "Because it hurts." What other reason? It hurts. You go and grab a man who has been through an ordeal, as Brother Floyd described, the nails and flogging and all that, and you go and embrace him, you're going to kill him. So she says, Mary says, "Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended unto my Father." I am not yet ascended unto my Father. In the language of the Jew, in the idiom of the Jew, he's saying, "I am not dead yet." Now, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my brother Floyd Clark has been unjust to himself. See, I feel he was unjust to himself, because this format was made by me. I said, whoever speaks first gets 10 minutes in the end. The second speaker has 1 hour continuously. The choice is yours. You take the choice. Had he given me the choice of speaking first, he would have an opportunity of refuting each and every one of these. But now, I pity him. In 10 minutes now, what he's going to do? What he's going to disentangle? What has been entangled now? What has been proved? I pity my brother, good friend, I love him, but I says, now if you had asked for my advice, I would have told you, let me speak first. So you have an hour to refute me, and then I can rebut him if it was possible. But there is a verdict is required from each and every one that is here tonight. It is not a question of who is right and who is wrong. You can see where truth lies. What the Muslim says, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, that they didn't kill him and they didn't crucify him. And crucify means to kill by hanging or impaling on the cross. And you say, whatever things happened, according to your records, he was not killed and he was not crucified. And the verdict is that if the Jews were in the dock for the murder of Jesus Christ, that they are not guilty. For attempted murder, yes, but not for murder. وَآخِرُ الدَّعْوَانَا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.
Before I introduce Professor Floyd again for the 10 minutes, I'd like to make an appeal for both Muslim and Christian audience and say this. It may be useful and important to think, it may be useful to interact or have information or intellectual thinking, but it is just as important to manifest the noble and lofty teaching of both Christ and Muhammad, peace be upon them, in our own behaviors. So I would ask the Muslim audience never to interrupt Professor Floyd or inject anything from the floor as he presented his full piece in the beginning. And I would ask my Christian brethren to observe the same also during the question and answer period. Thank you. Professor Floyd.
I hope that you will accede to the request of our chairman. I really am embarrassed because there was no interruption whatever of my speaking, and I know most of the audience are not fully in accord with what I said. And I hope that you will give to Mr. Deedat the courtesy that you gave to me. As Brother Deedat was sharing with us his study of the Scriptures, I'm delighted that he's studying 1 Corinthians 15, just praying that the light one day will break. There are 3 or 4 points. Now, I'm not here to debate. Mr. Deedat invited me to this program, and I was concurring with him. We're not here to do battle with one another, but this was his request. He said, we want to talk about the Bible. You do the best you can do, I'll do the best we can do, and then we'll leave it to God as to what happens. I believe that a wise choice. I appreciate the courtesy extended. I would invite my friend to further study. First of all, in the matter of reference to Mary touching Jesus, Brother Ahmed, you need to check back with your Greek. The word hapto, the word to touch used in that text, has one meaning in the active voice and another meaning in the middle. In the active, it means to touch, as Brother Ahmed was talking about. But in the middle, it means to cling. It is used in 1 Corinthians 7 of the embrace of people in a marriage relationship. Mary had grabbed him around the knees and was clinging to him to keep him. And Jesus said, you do not cling to me. I have not yet ascended unto my Father. I am fully in accord with all that Brother Ahmed said about Jesus coming back alive from the dead. Everything he says is true. Jesus was alive in the body and manifest being alive in the body in all of his appearances following the crucifixion. But what Brother Ahmed still does not understand is that when Jesus said flesh and bones, he did not say flesh and blood. He gave his blood when he died upon the cross, and he did not miraculously receive it back. He came into the upper room in a bloodless body, evidenced by the fact that the holes in his hands and feet and side were not oozing blood out on the carpets. In the distinction between the alive and the resurrection, Brother Ahmed needs to study further this point. Jesus said that he would lay down his life, he would take it again, and he would do it, and he would come back and be with them, which he did. but 40 days afterwards he ascended, leaving the physical body behind and ascending in the resurrected body. In Jesus' case, occurring 40 days after the crucifixion. And in his words to Mary, as quoted by Ahmed, "I have not yet ascended." In the discussions which we have had about the sign of Jonah, Ahmed needs to look further into the text also. When Jesus said, "As Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the earth," the Greek word is there hosper, as indeed. It does not express a comparison of identical nature. It is comparing some loose sense of comparison. Had the author intended an exact relationship, he would have needed to use hosautos or some such conjunctive adverb. As to the 3 days and 3 nights, Christendom did not celebrate Good Friday for more than 300 years after the coming of Christ, when many traditions crept in that were foreign to the New Testament. The New Testament teaches that there were 2 Sabbaths, a high Sabbath and a Sabbath a week co-joining, and that Jesus was crucified then on Thursday, not Friday, and his body lay in the tomb over the 2 days of the Sabbath. Again, I want to thank you for your wonderful courtesy. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you.
While I begin with some remarks as to how we should conduct the question-answer session,